join me the morning after the night before. And although this is episode 5, it really feels like episode 4.5. I've come back, first light, and upon arrival there was fish crashing everywhere. All over my swim, out in the deep, they're just everywhere. And it seemed like endless how many fish were crashing in here. Didn't seem like a lot of big ones, seemed like quite a few of the smaller fish were in here, but at this point in time it's just nice to see once again another sign that the fish are in. Even before I got my cameras fully set up, I actually had a fall fish this morning, which is my very first fish out of the swim. And although it wasn't a target species, it's that one step closer to success. I felt really deflated and defeated last night after coming home, after seeing all those fish and just having nothing at all. It stung a little, but I had a few phone calls with some friends and, was talking about how I'd almost given up here. I'd almost given up on this spot. And, some friends talked some sense into me and told me that I need to see this through. So, John of the Agri-Files, in his infinite wisdom, Papa John, said to me, well, have you ever tried a morning here? And I just went, well, no, I've been baiting in the afternoon, so sure, I'm going to want to come back out in the afternoon and fish it when I've been feeding it. And he's like, yeah, but do you know they feed in the afternoon? He said, you're making assumptions here. Yeah, that's right. I haven't covered my whole time frame of the day. So I've come back out this morning, and of course, seeing all these fish rolling has, it is a sign that I didn't see this kind of action yesterday. So fingers crossed. I've had a fall fish, so obviously fish are feeding this morning. I didn't have a fall fish yesterday. But this campaign video started off, it was supposed to be me finding an ideal spring fishing location. And seeing as everyone else around me is catching, not necessarily on this particular stretch of the trench, but everyone else around me seems to be catching. So the fact that I'm not catching here would almost imply that this spot isn't the most ideal carp fishing location for springtime, even though it looked like it might have been, at least for this stretch, right? I made a lot of assumptions. And now, for the first time, I think in my 7 seasons of carp fishing, I've been met with a challenge. And I need to see it through. I have to conquer this. So, this is episode 5, 4.5, but 5. And I'm not going to set any expectations. I got some things to do this afternoon, so I've got a few hours, and let's give it our best go. I can't even describe how good that feels. Yes, finally. The blanking spell is over. Yes! Well, here it is. After a month of blanking, being pushed to my wit's end, the start. of my 2020 season. What a gorgeous fish. Oh, I don't want to let it go. You know, it's such a struggle. It's been such a hard start. And yet here we are with a cracking mid-high double to start the season. Right on, sweetheart. Well, one last look at this stunner before I set her free. There's the start of the 2020 season, finally. Just like the Corda videos. I'm absolutely bait up. You know, in previous seasons, a month's worth of blanking in a spot, and I most certainly would have moved on, you know? And admittedly, I almost did last night. It took that phone call with John, you know, and a couple of Facebook messages. Well, funny enough, I went to re-soak my method, put a little bit of water in it, and I fell in. Super saturated the method, so I got that drying out right now. But I saw a fish show way out there, and I decided to throw a single at it. And lo and behold, it's gone off. There's a bit of obstruction. Very smart fish. Very smart fish. Another long one. Ooh, well, it just goes to show that sometimes throwing a single out to a showing fish can pay off big time. And it has paid off with this long, scrappy male. Ooh. Low 20s for sure. What a cracker. What a great looking fish. A little bit beaten up, a couple scars on its belly. Look at the environment it lives in. A proper urban creature. Thank you, fish. Let's get you back. One last look at this big long male before he goes back out to the depths to fight another day. Alrighty. Well, I said it in the last episode, but I've got to say it again because it might be the truest words I've ever spoken. That carp fishing can bring you from your wit's end to cloud 9 with just a few beeps. And let me tell you, I am absolutely buzzing right now. You know, a month's worth of blanking, and I now had 2 fish in rapid succession. And that second one, I really feel like I hunted it down. You know, I really feel like I tricked that fish up. I saw it crash out there, winged a single out to it, and it was like 5 minutes. 5 minutes and I had a fish. There's a number of you I'd like to thank, but I'm sure you already know who you are. You know, those of you who have sent your encouraging messages and given me that drive to give it just one more try. But in particular, on the phone last night, I spoke with my good friend John of the Angler Files and Anthony of Saskatchewan Carp Kings. And the two of them really made me realize that this is the first time I've been challenged. You know, in other years, it's come so easy, right? I show up to a spot where my intuition is telling me I'm going to have a fish, and I've had a fish, you know, to start my season. And this has been one of those spots that has actually turned into a challenge, right? The spring campaign was supposed to be testing my intuition. And let me tell you, it's not only tested my intuition, but my patience. When I was a young lad fishing, my dad always told me, you got to leave the worm in a little longer, you know? You got to give it a little bit of time, you know, and I'd give up on a bait so early, and just because I was looking for that action. And now I realize that it's patience. Patience is such a virtue, and the reward is so much more rewarding when your patience pays off. I'm glad I've stuck it out here. A month's worth of blanking, and I've had 2 fish in rapid succession. So a big thanks to all of you who have encouraged me to keep going, because to be honest, I was about to give up on myself. So thank you. Well, it may only be 9:30, but that sun is scorching hot. And I, without a shelter, am starting to get uncomfortable, especially in these waders. But with that hot sun has also come quite a stillness out there. I haven't seen any more fizzing, and I haven't seen any crashing in about an hour. So I think my window of opportunity was just before that sun started to really beat down on the swim, and I took full advantage of it. Finally had a result. You know, here we are, 5 episodes in, 1 month's worth of blanking, and I pulled it off. Can't really describe how good it feels. You know, it's like catching your first fish all over again. You know, it feels incredible. But I have some other obligations this afternoon, so I'm gonna pack it in, I think. Slowly, of course, leave the rod in right till the end, because I have to go and help my good friend Vince White put in his dock at his cottage on Rice Lake. And you know I'm gonna bring a rod, because it would be rude not to. So, is this the end of the spring campaign? Episode 5 finally had a result. I don't know. Would it be greedy to come back and want a couple more? I guess we'll just have to wait and see. I hope you have enjoyed this episode and this series thus far as much as I've enjoyed bringing it to you. And until next time, tight lines. That's why, and I can't stress this enough, you always leave the rod in last. looks like a big fish. And that's a proper old warrior, this one is. Oh yeah. That's a good looking fish. Let's have a look. Well, here it is. What is going to be my last fish of the day. A gnarled up, battered old cod. Look at that. Bit of the tail missing. What a character. Big scar on this side too. Really rubbing up against the rocks and such. But big showers. A beautiful fish, nonetheless. Let's get this one back. Now let's pack it in. Whew! What a result.